First, an introduction to the project. This is the society experiment. It was created as an idea by a YouTuber adapting the type of Minecraft challenges you might see clickbaiting views occasionally on YouTube. They're not really around anymore. Unfortunately, the YouTuber had some issues with the community and some mental health issues, and he left and we don't really talk to him anymore. The society experiment starts with each player creating their own nation and Discord server after an application process through Google Forms, with paragraphs of lore. The last 4 SEs had issues with conflicting lore, so the mod team for this installment, Society Experiment 5, have created a specific divergence from our timeline. This divergence is when a American supervolcano erupted in the 1740s, creating massive cooling across the planet, with famines virtually everywhere. The Europeans only survived because of exploitations of the other continents that were semi-unaffected. Each nation has to diverge their lore after this event. However, due to basically complete collapse of all civilizations inside of Europe, and also the ones in North Africa and Anatolia, this will be very easy to start your own lore as long as it starts in the 1740s. The mods have low standards as long as it is not a meme nation or a complete joke with literally no lore and you are just doing just horrible fucking lore with the son of Putin. Yes, I'm calling out you. I know you're watching this video. Fuck you, man. My nation does not divert much from the real-life history of the region. It's a relatively realistic portrayal of what a regional minority and their noble overlords would do if the central government of a nation collapsed. No, I'm not talking about the Kurds, I'm talking about the Bretons. The Breton people were forced out of southern and western England during the early Dark Ages by the Anglo-Saxon invaders. The Bretons were able to take control of the peninsula of Brittany before falling under French influence during the 100 Years' War. Breton nobility became pawns of both the French and the English, as each tried to secure the strategic position useful for their war effort, before ultimately falling under French influence again and later being annexed into France. Due to an ethnic divide between more French and linguistic ethnic groups in the south and the Bretons in the north, the French government was able to suppress the Breton language, and in real life, the Breton language is endangered with only about 200,000 speakers. After the 1743 calamity, not only did the French and English colonies in America all die out, but government control in metropolitan France evaporated, with the monarchy in an already precarious situation with the ongoing War of Austrian Succession, resulting in the rise of Prussia being snubbed out by an everlasting winter. Many French provinces seceded from the country under their own nobles, with the nobles of Brittany being no exception. The nobility hired multiple mercenary companies and beat a small French army sent to quash the rebellion. However, other provinces like Normandy and Amiens were not very lucky. Only a couple decades after the collapse, the French capital had an accelerated start of the revolution due to the famines in 1760, allowing for the French state to justify invasions of its former territories to spread the new Republican Revolution. Many revolutionary armies spread across northwestern Europe, eventually coming to Brittany, where thanks to the remaining former French states and southern European countries that survived the calamity, they were able to beat back the revolution and shatter all remaining French control outside of the Greater Paris region. After the First Parisian Revolution was crushed, the Breton population was relatively well off, compared to most of Western and Northern Europe, because of Brittany's mild temperatures, even in the wintertime, and its position directly on the Gulf Stream. With the mild temperatures, fertility, and the seeds of industrialism growing within Brittany, the country grew larger, brighter, and better than most any other country in Europe. For multiple decades, until one particularly bad harvest and a nearby Parisian communist revolution in the 1860s allowed for Parisian arms to flow into the hands of labor unions who had despised the government. After a popular revolt in the year prior, The People's Republic of Brittany was formed on the 2nd of April, 1871. The revolutionary was not only because of the bad harvest, but also because most of the money supposed to be spent on welfare and aid for the starving and sick was instead embezzled into the bank accounts of the nobility, and the military was insanely corrupt, with officers selling equipment and soldiers' labors to any buyers, making it so that the officer corps was despised by the lower enlisted. And so, we will end the story of Brittany for now. If you liked the video, I would suggest liking it so it gets promoted inside of the algorithm. And if you want to be alerted to the continuation of the story of SE and the story of Brittany, be sure to subscribe and put the bell on for notifications. As this will be a part 1 of part 2 of a 2-part series on the history of Brittany in the SE universe before session 1, and more videos yet unplanned due to the server being based on an ongoing series of games.